All right, Jonathan, let's talk a little bit about tech history.
Yes, this week we're covering September 20th through the 26th. And first off, we have the first FORTRAN program runs.
What is FORTRAN?
FORTRAN was developed by IBM scientists who were looking for a better way to program the IBM 704 mainframe computer.
I wonder, let's look at when actually FORTRAN was created. And it was a scientific and engineering application. So it was basically for scientific calculations, it looks like.
Yeah. High performance computing.
Yeah. In 2003, it became object-oriented, concurrent, parallel computing. Wow. Yeah, FORTRAN was a was very. Was it FORTRAN that was being used by the IRS? I want to say it was being used by the IRS for the longest time. And so if you began working with FORTRAN, again, I'm not 100% sure. Let's see if IRS is in here. And maybe if I look for internal, nope, maybe not. But it was definitely a language that was used for like accounting and stuff like that. Let me see. What did the Internal Revenue Service program with? Let's look at that. IRS, because they ran into problems after all their programmers retired. And I want to say that FORTRAN was one of those languages. Yeah, no, it doesn't say.
Wow, this goes way back in time.
Yeah. But I want to say, what about if I say, what programming language did the IRS use? So they moved to Java, but they were using assembly. Cobalt, that's what it was. They were using Cobalt. Okay, wrong language. FORTRAN was completely something different, but it was used for statistical and being able to calculate, scientific calculations and whatnot. Weather prediction, finite element analysis, and so it was more used in the science community.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Next up, we have September 22nd, computer code protected by copyright. The first one.
Ooh, computer code. What was NEC Corporation versus Intel? Basically battled over who had the right to produce x86 processors. Wow. The ruling, while finding that Intel had the copyright protection for the code in their processors, also found that reverse engineering code was also legal, and therefore NEC did not violate Intel's copyright to reproduce their own x86 processor. This ruling that could not be copyrighted changed the landscape for better or worse for software and computer development. So you can reverse engineer something. Oh, that's crazy. So we can take a program, reverse engineering, and create our own. And they can't sue us. Where are we going to start? Facebook, Twitter, where?
Let's be the next Facebook.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of interesting to figure that out. Cool.
Cool. Next up, we have September 23rd, the first Android introduced.
The first Android. Wow.
Google and T-Mobile introduced the T-Mobile G1.
I remember this.
Wow. Remember when flip phones were cool? I mean, I think they're still cool. Like that's
The Razor.
the Razor.
The Razor was the coolest phone, I think. But yeah, I remember the G1, also known as the HTC Dream. Didn't Gerard move over to the G1 or something?
I don't think so. I don't remember him having a keyboard like that,
Hmm.
or like a phone that like flips up like that.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that when you looked at the Google phone and you looked at the iPhone, when they first started, they were completely different.
Mhm.
I'm gonna confess, I'm actually switching over to iPhone.
No way.
So I went out and bought an iPhone, and as I'm looking at it, I was like, they're the same. Granted, they say, and when I say they, like colleagues and other people that I know, they say that the iPhone has much better hardware than any phone out there.
Mhm.
All the other phones, Samsung, Google phone, with Pixel or all those, they're all first to market with innovation, but Apple kind of perfects it. He sees the mistakes that these other companies make and then says, okay, here's a mistake they make. Let's not make those mistakes. Let's fix it, which makes their hardware superior at that point, because things work the way they're supposed to. Just the fact that you have first to market doesn't mean that it's perfect, right? It's just first to market. And there's always going to be flaws. And so Apple waits. And so I thought, okay, I can believe that because I'm a MacBook Pro user. And I have to admit, their hardware is far superior than any Windows machine or any Windows laptop that I've ever had. Most of my laptops, Windows laptops, only lasted 3, maybe pushing. I mean, and it was like during my poor days, pushing 5 years. But a Mac, I had a Mac for 6 years before I replaced it. And I thought, and it's still going strong. But I just got nervous and I was like, I think it's time to upgrade. And I went and upgraded, and I don't know. I feel like I have a machine for another 6 years now. I don't have to worry about it. I got good backups and everything. So yeah, I decided to take the leap over to iPhone. And so I got the iPhone. I'm not gonna use it until I get my rugged OtterBox case because I got the luck of Butterfingers that things just slip out of my hands. So I broke my Pixel, and it cost too much to fix it. So I said, okay, it's time for a new phone. So yeah, I'm waiting for my OtterBox, and yeah, we'll see how long the iPhone lasts. I mean, I'm expecting it to last. I don't know. My Pixels lasted 5 years, so I'm expecting my iPhone to last that plus more. I figured I'm going to push 7 years. Where are we at? 2021.
So
and
when the iPhone
20
comes out, that's when you'll get a new one.
Yeah, because right now they just released the 12, right, or the 13.
Mhm.
So I'm going to wait 7 years. 20, iPhone 20. That's the one I'm going to get next, if in fact the iPhone lasts me that long.
All right. So. Cool. The next up we have September 25th, the first personal computer you've never heard of.
First personal computer you never heard of.
What is it? A calculator?
It looks like a little labeler. You know those little labelers?
Yeah, a little label maker.
Yeah. Microcomputer Machines of Canada introduced their MCM70 microcomputer at the Programmers User Conference in Toronto, possibly the earliest commercially manufactured device that could now be considered a personal computer.
Wow.
So the MCM70 gained customers at companies such as Chevron, Mutual Life Insurance, NASA, and the US Army. The company worked closely with Intel on their design of their computer and made very early use of the Intel 8008 processor. Oh, interesting. And later in the future, it used the 8086, which is the x86 architecture.
Wow.
So yeah, I would say this was the first PC because it uses the x86 architecture, which we use now.
Yeah. Wow.
That's cool. But I mean, was that your screen? That was it?
That was it. Like, how do you? Oh, it was just that little line that you just see text.
Yeah. I wonder how, wow. I wish they had a video of this, of how it actually worked, or how would you use it? Interesting. I wonder if you had to connect it somewhere. Maybe you had to connect it to your TV,
Maybe.
some kind of monitor or something. Cool. I mean, you know what? Let's go look at it in Wikipedia. Early history, development, specifications, released 800 kilohertz, sold for $49.50 Canadian dollars.
Wow.
At the time, it was equal to the US dollar, so the same price. It was fully equipped with, that's why it would never sold, because it was too freaking expensive.
That's crazy.
$9,800 for 2 drives was the only model that sold well. So yeah, I mean, you couldn't even call it a personal computer because only big corporations were able to buy this. Yeah, I mean, buying a $500 phone is almost insane these days, but we do it anyways.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive for a little computer. Cool.
Cool. Next up, we have Concorde breaks Atlantic crossing speed record. What is that? The Concorde?
Yeah, so the Concorde supersonic spacecraft.
Whoa.
Wow. Washington, D.C. to Paris, France in 3 hours and 32 minutes.
Whoa.
Average speed of 954 miles per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound.
Wow.
That's
fast.
I mean, an airplane travels subsonic. So the speed of sound is like 700 miles, more or less, 700 miles an hour. And so I think they run like around 600 miles per hour, the airplanes. So running at supersonic, which means that faster than the speed of sound, that's 954 miles per hour. That's crazy.
Wow. Nuts.
It is. Couldn't imagine.
Cool. That's about it for tech history this week.
Awesome. Until next time.
Peace.